Let's have a talk, let's have a chat, talking about a little this and that. Hello and welcome to another episode of This and That. I am your host, Mary Easterling, and this evening I'm exposing something very strange, very frightening. But before I do this, I'm going to read this vision. It's called American Check Point Charley by Bob Neumann. Dear friends, I went to Gainesville, Florida this weekend and had an interesting time. Your thoughts are needed. Driving north just after the Florida Turnpike merged with I-75, I had an open-eyed vision at 70 miles an hour. There were two roadblocks covering both sides of I-75, and it was a massive display of force. Hundreds of dark brown buses in rows. Folks, I've seen those buses. They have a mark on them in black. They're very dark, sand brown, almost a very, very dark turd brown color. They're like old cheese buses that have been converted and repainted, basically. The forces involved numbered in the thousands as each vehicle was scanned by their license plate in some way. Most cars were waved through. In some cases, the driver was told to pull over in the closed lanes. There, one of three things happened. The car was told to turn around and join a long line of cars that were being rerouted toward the turnpike south, which takes you to Orlando. The second option was one or more of the occupants were removed and the car was sent either on its way or joined the convoy towards Orlando. The third option was what got my attention. Those people removed from their cars joined this third group where everyone in the car was removed. Men to one group of buses, children and teens to another, women with small children and babies to a third, the elderly and those in wheelchairs a fourth. When a car was emptied, a driver jumped in and headed north. The buses with children and the informed, the term came to my spirit, went north. The buses with males went toward Tampa, west. Women to Orlando, south. It was a precision military operation. On the ground were tanks and APCs, helicopter gunships in the air. T-2s and bulldozers were pushing off the burning cars of those who either attempted to resist or flee. And there was a very large pile of bodies lying on the side. No body bags, but teams scanning, fingerprinting, and looting the dead of valuables. Two other little things in this nature occurred during the trip. They can wait. Bob in Miami. In that he signs off from Miami means this is before the early to mid-2000s. This came off of Facebook by J. Holly McCall, May 4, 2025, posted 8:22 p.m. This story has been updated. An apparent immigration enforcement action by agents with the U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement Agency early Sunday morning in Nashville resulted in the detentions of area immigrants, officials said. According to a press release from State Representative Upton Ben, a Nashville Democrat, quote, witnesses reported multiple drivers pulled over and detained, including mothers driving to work, allegedly leaving children in vehicles by themselves. Videos, photos, and first-hand accounts point to ICE working in tandem with the Tennessee Highway Patrol in Nashville to carry out what can only be described as a dragnet, unquote. A Tennessee Lookout photojournalist on Sunday documented buses leaving a U.S. Department of Homeland Security, or DHS, facility in Nashville. Family members of the alleged detainees were also present protesting the alleged detention. In a statement, Melissa Harper, Enforcement and Removal Operations New Orleans Field Office Director, did not specifically confirm the Nashville action, but said, quote, protecting the safety and security of our communities remains a top priority for ICE. As part of our ongoing mission to uphold U.S. immigration laws, our targeted enforcement operations are specifically focused on individuals who threaten public safety or national security. These efforts help ensure that our neighborhoods remain safe and that immigration laws are enforced, unquote. A bus reportedly filled with Nashville immigrants detained on Sunday morning prepares to leave the Department of Homeland Security and ICE facility on North Nashville. Quote, arbitrarily rounding up parents on their way home and workers traveling to their jobs does not make Nashville safer or stronger, unquote, said Lisa Sherman Luna, executive director of Tennessee Immigrant and Refugee Rights Coalition, in that statement in Nashville. They're in Nashville doing this. Quote, instead, it shatters families, erodes trust in law enforcement, and leads to fear, trauma, and isolation that weakens the collective fabric of our community, unquote. Quote, this is yet another unconscionable act of cruelty and abuse of power by ICE collaborating with state law enforcement that will have a devastating impact on families throughout Nashville and beyond, unquote, Luna said. In a statement posted on social media, Nashville Mayor Freddie O'Connell said, quote, this type of federal enforcement action is not focused on making us safer and leaves people in the community fearing any interaction with law enforcement. When there's a crime occurring, we will be seeking the names of those detained, unquote. At publication time, the Lookout had not received a response to requests for comment from the Tennessee Highway Patrol. The detention comes amid a federal and state focus on immigrants and moves to deport them. In a January special legislation session, the Tennessee General Assembly passed sweeping immigration legislation to create a new state enforcement office as a liaison with the Trump administration, provide grants to law enforcement agencies that agree to participate in the federal 287G program, which allows local police and sheriff deputies to enforce federal immigration laws and criminalize public officials who vote for sanctuary city policies. In a press announcement calling for the special session, Governor Bill Lee said his aim, quote, ensuring our state is ready to assist President Trump in carrying out his immigration enforcement agenda, unquote. Several other bills targeting immigrants were taken up during the regular legislative session, a measure to hold, please listen to this, churches and charitable organizations liable for providing housing aid to immigrants without legal status, who then go on to commit a crime, passed, as did a quote-unquote human smuggling bill, which creates a new crime for harboring or hiding immigrants without permanent legal status, meaning you're a smuggler. That's what that means. Spokesperson for the Metro Nashville Police Department said the agency was not involved in the detention action, but sent officers to the DHS facility to monitor a public protest before they were relieved by highway patrol officers. This is a developing story and will be updated as additional information becomes available, folks. This is a Check Point Charley. In Nashville right now, if a church or a soup kitchen inadvertently shelters, gives help to an illegal, they are human smugglers. They have committed a federal offense. Churches used to be sanctuaries and safe havens for the oppressed. They are no longer. It is only a matter of time before all 50 states enact the same legislation. The illegal alien immigrant thing that is happening is the tip of the iceberg. Right now there is talk on Capitol Hill about dealing with anti-Christian sentiment. But which form of Christianity are we talking about? Jesus or some of the things that we've covered on This and That under the Big Reveal 2 Under the Hood and are about to cover as we go even further under the hood. If you are black, you are Latin, you are anything but white Anglo-Saxon Protestant, please learn to hear and understand the voice and words of the Holy Spirit. Your life and your families might depend on it. If he says, do this, don't do that, just obey. There will be more of these stories. This is just one that I came across. There are already many of these. I know someone who works a job that is regularly invaded by ICE because, well, the place is a place where a lot of people gather. He's not white Anglo-Saxon Protestant. I know this person's significant other is rather unnerved by the whole thing. The hope is said significant other will be able to come home at the end of their day. Immigration is the tip of the iceberg. When they begin to come to you and say, do you believe in Jesus? Are you a Christian? And you say no. Well, you could be committing a crime by not being a supporter of the state religion. See, the separation of church and state has died. Not is in danger. It has died because the church is now running the state. Google how quickly you can lose your citizenship. We are in the technological age. All they have to do is access all the right places and your identity disappears. You're not a citizen because we can't find you in our database. No social, no drivers, no birth certificate, nothing. And that makes you an illegal immigrant. That means you could be deported to where? Which prison? In what country? In the many countries that we are starting to be friendly to that are not nice places. Hear me and hear me well. Do not protest. Do not do anything the Holy Spirit tells you not to do. Absolutely do anything the Holy Spirit tells you to do. Make sure you hear the one true and living God. Before I go, this evening I was listening to a gift, singing along to some worship music, and suddenly I was sitting on the beachhead, and I was in the black. I looked out into, it is very, very dark out there. I looked into the oncoming darkness, which is now absolute. And it had a sheen to it, like an iridescence, so darkness can shine. And I was told, I was made to understand something that a friend of mine has related over and over again about this great revival, something that will go through all America and from America out to all the world. Right now, all of the world is watching the United States. How much can our administration get away with before it can't get away with anything more? How complete a job of a total disruption of our government can this administration do? In the meantime, it says it's pro-Christian, very pro-Christian. You see the crosses, boldly worn, and the talk of looking into anything that's anti-Christian sentiment or rhetoric or anything. This is that. The problem is, this is not a good thing. This is another step toward the book of Revelation. If you thought you were safe because you're white, Anglo-Saxon, Protestant, and Christian, you might not be. Your citizenship can be revoked if they believe you've committed a crime. Basically, they won't deport you. They'll end you. I mean, you get to go home to Jesus, but who are you leaving behind? Stay safe out there, folks. Thank you.